Guys, this is going to be the regular council meeting for the town of St. Paul, July 8th, 2024. It is 7:01. We'll get this going. So first order of business is the roll call.
Mr. Simmons?
Here.
Mr. Trevino?
Here.
Mr. Graham?
Here.
Mr. Dryden is absent. You have a quorum.
Have a quorum established at this time. Please stand for your pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, you'll look on your agenda. The second one was mayor minutes. We decided to postpone that for this particular meeting and move on to citizens' comments. Did anybody fill out any citizen comments?
Oh, we got
You
one.
did?
I did.
You can please come up.
Oh, I have to come up? Okay.
Yes,
Where would you like
please.
me to be?
Anywhere. I didn't get the sheet, that's why I was wondering.
Need your form.
Oh, it's in the envelope.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't check the envelope. Is this my water?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me see that. What we got here? Okay. Sarabeth, please go ahead.
Okay, so good evening. First I wanted to start by just saying I appreciate all of the work that y'all have done over the past few months to get a town administrator hired and an open alderman seat filled. These are positive steps for our community. I'd like to discuss the parking issue that is continuing to be problematic at 3990 Lakeway Drive. At the last regular council meeting in June, a representative tenant reiterated the following talking points. And these are things that we've heard through various meetings. First one was that the ICW attendees would be educated to park only on one side of the street. 3 days ago, on July the 5th, cars were parked on both sides of the street. 15 were parked on the north side of Lakeway Drive, which is the side that they have designated would be clear. So they're parking on both sides, but parking on the side that they said they will not park on. The second thing that was stated at that meeting was that people would be placed outside in order to direct parking for the worship attendees. 3 days ago, on July the 5th, no one was present to direct anyone parking their cars. And a conservative estimate of total cars parked on Friday was about 75. The 3990 guests used all of their parking spots available, in addition to parking in front of Goodfellas and Country Club Cafe. The tenant representative mentioned that the landlord would be getting engineering drawings done for a parking lot after financing was approved. Was the loan approved? Do we have any update from the landlord? Has anything been done in the last month to move the parking lot forward? It has been 15 months since I first stood here and used my 3 minutes to request the town of St. Paul take action on this item. It is my understanding that none of the tenants located at 3990 have the proper permits to continue their activities. I would request that the council take action to treat all tenants equally and require everyone in the town of St. Paul to be compliant with our current ordinances. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is that the only one this evening? Anyone else? Okay, we'll close the portion of citizen comments at this time. Council, you'll look to review the town financials of town, where is that sheet that's there? Your town financials are behind that. As far as that goes, if you have any discussion, that's fine. Otherwise, if everything looks good, we make a motion to approve the expenses as shown.
Has there been any major changes from last month's budget versus this month's?
There is, are you talking as far as amendment?
Yes.
We have not amended the budget as yet. I spoke with Roz the other day, and she mentioned that we were going to be doing the amended budget. And with our new town secretary that'll be here on Wednesday, then we will definitely break off into that pretty quick and take care of that. And that will be for the month of July, ending in July.
Was it 200 more?
Yeah. Which page?
Oh, it's the first into the broken down expenses, the summary.
This one, yeah.
Line item 1172, is that the final remittance that was gonna be paid out? Do we know that?
That should have been the final. I can check with Katie first thing in the morning and let you know on that, but that should be the final. We're waiting on the background check to finish up. That'll be a separate deal from the consulting company. That's just our standard background checks we do.
My apologies, it would be, the final line item would be, what's this, to print, but on June 27th. I'm assuming that's going to be the final one. On page 3. June 27th.
I believe that one,
That,
yeah, that's to print. That is correct. It has not come out yet. That's correct.
yeah, just to see if we've got it, if we're gonna have any additional balance.
Okay. Okay. I'll find that out for you and get it to you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. We need to discuss or approve of anything here.
Yeah, we can accept, a motion, we accept the finances.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 7-1. Second.
Let's see. Yeah.
You good there? Okay. Moving on to approval of the minutes from the June 28th. We had two special meetings that day, one at 3:30 one at 6:30 that evening. So if you'll take a look at Tad on your sheets, you'll be able to see that. So the first one was the 3:30 meeting.
Alright, I'll make the motion that we approve the meeting minutes for 5.1.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
And I'll also make, sorry,
Let's talk about
okay, no, I'll also make the motion that we approve meeting minutes for 5.2.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. So, this time we'll move on to the regular agenda meetings. It's taken a while. We finally managed to get council seat 1 filled. We have a volunteer. We had 4 volunteers. This man was gracious enough to offer his time to finish out this term. Larry Nail, I'd like to introduce Larry Nail to everybody that's here. You're on camera as well, just keep that in mind. Yeah, and so if you would stand up, please. I know I've already had Larry take care of his statement of officer, and at this time, I'd like to, if you'll raise your right hand, we'll swear you in. Just say I and your name.
I, Lawrence David.
Do solemnly swear to affirm
solemnly swear to affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Alderman
of the office of Alderman
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and to this state, so help me God.
and to this state, so help me God.
Great. Congratulations. Thank you very much. So
Sign my life away now?
you may have a sit right up here, sir.
What's the
We're
chair?
going to baptize you in the proper way as far as that goes. Not just throwing you under the bus. However you want to put it, that's right. So, welcome. We appreciate your time, Larry. I appreciate your time very, very much. So, I know that's asking a lot. Again, 6.2, if you'll take a look at that, we've got it for the PnZ Commission, discuss, consider act regarding appointments to the PnZ. So, I met with Gary Sprague, came in this week, last week before we broke on the Wednesday. And I talked to him for about an hour and a half, and he voiced he wanted bodies, he wanted people that wanted to serve, and we have 2 volunteer applications we discussed a little bit in the last meeting for Bob London, our brief interim town secretary, and for Leah Swanner. And so after speaking with both of them, for my recommendation, Bob London is going to be the best choice for the full-time slot based on availability, based on knowledge, based on tenure here, based on knowledge of the code of ordinances. Leah Swanner back there is willing to work her schedule around a reserve position to be available for that position. So that is my opinion and nomination for those 2 positions of PnZ. Do I have any discussion? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we appoint Bob to the primary position and Leah to the alternate position to PnZ.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, no nays, motion passes. Bob, you cannot sit on the PnZ until you finish this spot. Thank gosh we don't have any meetings right away, so we'll get you there. 6.3, this is something that was brought up a while back in discussion only regarding the town council and mayor's need for a separate government communication devices, i.e. cell phones. So everybody's aware of why, everybody's aware of open records. And so it was discussed by some of the council members back, several months back, about the potential for needing a device to separate church and state, if you want to use it that way. So do I have any discussion on this? Y'all wanted to bring it up, so I'm open to it.
I think you wanted to bring it
Oh,
up first, right? I'll let you speak first.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it's just separate church and state. I mean, as you said, it's to conduct business, like official government business on an official government device versus our personal devices, for a small fee that the town would, incur. It's just to keep everything business oriented.
I
On
can
a business
call
device.
FirstNet tomorrow, find out. I was explained by Leanne that the cost of the phone was negligible, $20 for service on each phone. Whether that's correct or not, I don't know until I call and physically talk to them. If you want me to, I can do that, bring it back next month with a price tag on it. And then you guys can, you know how I am, I'd rather you have all the information before you vote on something. I just put this in there to see if y'all still wanted to go forward, and then I'll get you the numbers from that.
Right, so the whole reason that I wanted to propose this was definitely, we're trying to make everything, we don't have a standard operating procedures yet put in place for any conductivity of most businesses or business from a government perspective. However, in the best interest of the town and putting our best foot forward, allowing PnZ members to have an official email, so they're not having to utilize their personal email addresses to conduct official town business. This is just that next step. So, and it's just to alleviate any liability from our personal devices to a government device.
My opinion on it is that we could stop at the server level. So as long as the emails are on the server, which we have separate email accounts, then you could get all those records there. And if they needed to have text, you could subpoena any of the providers to be able to get the text off of personal phones without taking the device. The only reason that they need to take the device is that there was something on the device that was not transmitted. And if it wasn't transmitted, then you weren't conducting any business because it's just on your personal device. Like, for example, when I helped with the ordinance, I used my personal computer. So one of my arguments to JT on this would be, what, am I gonna get a laptop as well? Because it's really hard to do document work on a phone. So we do sometimes look at documents, or we maybe comment on documents and send them back. And so that where does it stop? I think that with modern cloud services and client-server type relationships, we should be able to handle all the FOIA requests or any kind of forensics that might need to be done without having to have individual devices. And maybe we just need to look into that. Maybe we need to find out more about what towns our size do and where the line needs to be. Maybe what towns like ours do is not the best way to go, because sometimes they're not up to speed on what is the best position to take. But it certainly, I mean, a lot of us have IT experience, and it just depends on the risk posture we're gonna take. I have had devices taken up, in my line of work, but it's usually because there's something on the device that shouldn't be read anymore. Speaking about top secret material. But as far as them looking, they could look, and they do look, on every company, not just defense companies, but major companies are watching everything going in and out of their network, and they can see all the content on their network. And so certainly if we need to do that kind of thing, I would think the IT provider we have would be able to do that.
No, and again, all it was to open that discussion up.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to make, like I say, figure out what is our risk posture and what are we willing to spend money on to buy down the risk, and what are we willing to be able to just sustain with as is.
And I can reach back out to IT tomorrow and get some of the answers on your server access, things of that sort, to try to finalize it down, because the cell phone is not through our IT, it's through FirstNet.
Right.
So because of that, we kind of need to know what's our capabilities here. So I'll reach out to them tomorrow, and then also with FirstNet, I need to get with, about Scott's phone anyway, so I can get in contact with them and find out what that fee is as well. Give y'all more information, and then y'all can finalize a decision from there, if that makes sense.
And I'm sure that, you know, given the experience that's coming to the town of St. Paul, we can definitely utilize
Right.
that knowledge base.
You bet.
Okay?
You gotta ask IT, what plan they're on for Office, for 365.
Say that again?
Ask IT,
Yep.
what plan they're on for 365.
Yeah, what we're paying for.
Yeah, that's something that, you know, I don't know if that would fall under this discussion. However, I think knowing exactly what scope of work that IT is providing at this time is definitely,
It's related.
it's definitely something that we should be looking into.
Okay. Okay, I'll see what I can find out on it and get that for y'all.
Cool. If you need any assistance on.
Do we have a
Okay.
copy of
I
their
appreciate
contract
that.
for that matter?
I'm sorry?
Do we have a copy of their contract for that matter?
Yeah.
We do, so we'll be able to get that, I'll put that on here as well, and, so we'll be able to furnish that as well. Okay? Any more discussion?
I just one other thought, is that Robert made the mention of buying down the risk, but are we willing to consider eSIMs on the personal device if we're able to audit and track the calls? Though we don't have to carry two phones.
Yeah.
Right, we just, you know, it's definitely something to consider. The last thing I wanna do is have to carry multiple devices
Yes.
already.
That would put me up to 4 SIMs. Sometimes, I gotta draw a line somewhere.
And we should do that. So, okay, I'll ask about that.
But the consideration, you know, I guess just another touch point, just to expound on Mr. Simmons, he did state, you know, how we're currently conducting business, if we have to type up emails, generate documents, assist the mayor, assist whomever, you know, town administrator, for whatever diligence that we have to perform. I know that our previous secretary was looking into having us devices, cause our current scope is less than ideal. So that might be something to consider, maybe as opposed to getting another cellular device, maybe get an all-in-one device, a tablet or something like that, where it might have the calling capability with, you know, over Bluetooth or something. But it's not a bad option, so.
Okay. Anything else, Larry, down there?
Yes, sir.
This end of the table, any more discussion?
Yep.
Okay, I will find out information on that, and then we can push that off to next month. Agreed?
Okay.
Do we need to have a motion to move it to next month? We did- Just discussion on it.
Yeah, we just make sure it's on the
There
agenda
you go.
for next
It
month.
will be on there next. So 6.4, discuss, consider act regarding video and recording equipment for council chambers. This was brought up, by one of the council members. I checked with IT on that. Originally, they said, yeah, the cost was gonna be minimal to televise this. Then, once the bid came in, it wasn't minimal. It was very high. So, Justin, who, offered to do a little more research on cost effectiveness, what we can and cannot do, to be able to offer that to the public like we're currently doing through his medium, which we would like to do it through City Hall, to be able to do that instead of a recorder, use that recording device as well, simplify the system. So I'll leave it to you to bring up what you figured out.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to justify the expense. So I think we felt it's good to kind of look up old items, look at old council meetings, see what we agreed on before. I think both council members and citizens have actually used that. It's also much more efficient to do minutes on that because you can just look at the transcript. You can just do text searches to figure out where the agenda items are, and you can make the minutes pretty quickly from that.
Meaning that when you put it on YouTube, it helps transcribe it for you.
Yeah, it auto transcribes it. So basically, I don't know, give it a minute once it's uploaded, and then you can just Control F and find whatever.
Which also would help with ADA compliance.
Correct.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
yep. And then also you get a benefit that we can see PnZ meetings without worrying about a quorum, situation. So I'm doing it right now, but I think it'd be better for the town to do it. Delegate responsibility to the staff. So I put together some like very, very simple requirements for what I was looking for. So I'm looking for reliability. I just want it to be able to go up and running fairly easy, few parts, easy to use. Better audio support's I think the big thing. Some of us are hard to hear depending on where you are. So the idea would be to kind of put it at the back of the room with a big mic. Try an unpowered mic first, see if that works, and then if that doesn't work, you do a powered mic. And if that doesn't work, we can always do a separate mic and camera system. That gets more complicated. You have to sync it, so that's not ideal, but it's still a possibility. And I notice there's also mics up here, so I don't know where.
Maybe Bob, since Bob's temporary, maybe you can tell us the story behind this, because I remember that we wanted to get this system because it was similar to Wiley's, right?
Yeah, yes, you can tie it into the system and use the software. We're recording it, you can record it off these mics.
Audio only, no video.
Right.
Right?
There was a video option, but it was more money, and we decided we didn't need to do that at the time. But we do have this equipment, and I don't know how easy it would be.
It's in the file room.
Yeah.
You can go look at what we got in there.
Okay, so you can still like post that on YouTube, basically audio only.
Right.
Just make some blank screen or something like
So
that.
we wouldn't have to host any video or anything like that?
That's a good question. So we can, according to my research, we can post it on YouTube, but we might want to keep backups internally in case we get an odd like FOIA request. That'd be kind of weird if we could start it on YouTube, but it's kind of for backup purposes and FOIA purposes as well.
Well, there's always the odd chance of YouTube banning it for the wrong words. So.
Yeah.
There's always a chance of that, yeah.
Possibility.
Yeah. So I'll just kind of go through the camera setup if we want to still go that route. So I was searching for name brand equipment because I want reliability. There's some vlogger cameras that are like under $200 and they have everything we need, but I just didn't trust that at all. That's good for your kid, but not necessarily good for the town. I wanted external mic support that could be connected via 3.5mm audio. That's more reliable than say USB. Some new cameras support USB, but it's not reliable yet. And then an option for a powered external mic. Given that, I think we kind of covered everything I wanted to cover there. There's also an adapter typically on the camcorder. It's called a hot shoe, and that's where basically the microphone lives. That's an very easy way to attach a mic to the camera, so you're just dealing with one setup as opposed to having a mic here and a camera there. I've got the shopping list. It's a little more expensive than I wanted it to be. It got to be, as of today, about $1,500 because Amazon went up 100 since the weekend.
That's it.
That's it. So the big one is the camera. It's a 4K camera. They do have, that's probably overkill, but this is the only camera I found that had this name brand and also had the hot shoe and the 3.5mm input. We could go a little bit lower, but then you're dealing with adapters to have the mic mounted, or you can mount it to the tripod, but I was trying to make it easy. So the camcorder itself, as of this listing, was $1,000. You got a $100 unpowered mic. You got a $12 SD card reader. You got a $22. I think that was basically $44 worth of SD cards if I get to them, and a tripod. That was $140. So with tax, that comes to about $1,500.
If we're going to use it all the time, we may just want to have a permanent mount and not worry about a
Right.
tripod. I mean, we wouldn't necessarily leave the camera there, but you can have the mount just mounted to the wall. supposed to air, make the room look nicer and walkway cleaner.
Something maybe
Yeah,
back out of
Yeah.
the way.
Just a thought.
yeah, it's a good point.
You might be able to use the network and do the audio to the system too.
Maybe, yeah.
There might be a 3.5mm bridge.
Yeah.
You've got network jacks there.
I guess kind of another question is, do we still want video? Given
I think
this
so.
price range, do we still want video?
Yeah.
Can, even if we didn't put it on YouTube, can we can still keep that record here on the server, and so
Right.
we can always refer back if need to from here, even if we weren't able to put it out.
What's our retention clause? What's our
7
retention
years.
requirements?
7 years.
Do we have 7 years worth of storage for, what's your average video?
I think I had it about, I said about 15 gigs a council meeting. That's high. That could probably be lower.
Yeah, 4K, that's gonna be probably a little bit more.
I could downsample it to 1080p, which we probably want to do. I would want to deal with dealing with upload of 4K video. I don't think the benefits there. So I had that, assuming we bought, very simple calculation, assuming we bought a hard drive to support that, that's about $150 a year. I'm sure there's cheaper options, but that's a rough price to keep that data.
And backup.
Yep.
How much was you estimating on a hard drive?
I said, like, if you're continuously storing meeting data and you're kind of have a heavy meeting load, I'd say $150 a year.
So this should tie in also back to what our scope looks like from the IT perspective. I know we have a server, but
Yeah.
what does this server contain, and what's the size of this server? And is it more of a NAS than a server? So, because if it's just a NAS, then I'd like to know the size of the NAS, and
Is it supported?
so NAS being NAS.
Yeah, I think we.
NAS or SAN, right, so SAN. If you need any clarification, need me to jump on a
I
call.
need a lot of clarification in this area, yes, thank
If you
you.
need, if you need my support in jumping on a call, or, feel free to reach out to any one of us, or myself, or whomever. I'll volunteer, Justin.
But I personally don't have a problem with it being, with the town having a YouTube account and putting it on YouTube. We shouldn't rely on it as the primary.
Right.
But I don't have a problem with it being posted there.
Do you happen to know if there's a YouTube for business, so it's an official capacity?
I'm not sure. I know it can handle the load.
Right.
You've got to fill out some extra things to get the longer videos supported, but I think it's something that town could do.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what
Probably
it
gets
was.
certified.
Right, just so we can have them
Yeah.
as a hosting facility, and we can
Yeah.
always link those back to, on the town of St. Paul's website.
Website, right,
Right.
link going to it.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
question.
much easier
I think
to-
you brought up a good point. If somebody, not in this room, but if a citizen came up with language or something where they
Yeah.
censored it,
Well,
that's
we-
gonna be.
We may
the
have to
biggest
censor it
issue.
ourselves.
Right.
Agreed, but
Yeah.
it could be out, it could be out of what we would censor.
Yeah,
Depends on
that's true.
who complains.
Right. Well, I mean, again, it shouldn't be the primary source, but, certainly a way to get the information out. And we don't have a closed circuit TV deal like some towns do, so that's.
I know there's other municipalities that I've seen, I'm sure you've seen it
Right.
too, where they embed it on their website, right? So just as, it's an embedded player,
Yeah.
so.
So we can since you started with this, I'll let you check in the server room for the microphone hookup, see if it's something that's still in play. If not, then it may be something we can change out. And then find out from IT, I'll get JT involved in that one as well. Find out all the details on this, and then we'll know exactly what we need to get, and then we can take it one step at a time.
I'll look and see if I can get any wall mounts for that. That'd be a perfect spot in the back.
Yeah.
So we'll put this back on the agenda for a month from now, bring it back up, see where we're at that point. I think it's something worth looking into. I know Justin said, and I think there's quite a few people, even the prior council, that are watching the videos.
Right.
They're paying attention.
Right.
And so I think it's a good thing to share everything. My view,
Yeah.
open is great, so let's
Transparency.
get it out.
Transparency keeps us honest.
And so, is that
it's a good thing.
to security? Is that,
Yeah, it's a security
Yes.
thing.
actually, I'm guessing that we can't really
Tap into that. You might be able
You
to.
won't be able to.
Okay.
So, any other discussion on this? You ready to move on? And I'll bring this back
I
next
just,
month.
in my experience though, back to the YouTube thing, it's easier, especially if you're gonna put it on our website, to just embed the player. It's already,
Yeah.
it's what YouTube does, and you can do it yourself on your own website. It's much harder and less reliable in my experience, and so just, even though they do have some interesting ways to apply their rules on YouTube, and we could potentially have somebody, even a council member, maybe say something that was not a, what do they call it, within the realm of
The guidelines.
guidelines,
Yeah.
the community guidelines, I think
Yeah.
as they call it. That could happen, but I still think it'd be a good way to go, and certainly not primary, like I said before, but it's would be a step forward for us as a town.
Okay, okay. We'll make that an item I'll bring up on the next month. I'll get with JT and Justin both, and we'll see what we can come up with in the next cycle.
Do we have access to edit the town site? I guess we do.
Yes.
We do,
Okay, all
we
right.
do have access,
Okay.
so we can definitely take care of that. Okay, moving on to 6.5. Discuss, consider act regarding the amendment to the town administrator ordinance approved on May 13, 2024. So we had that discussion, and so we reached out to the city attorney. If you'll check that, the first one you'll see in your packet is the original. The next one right behind it would be the amendment. Robert Simmons can fill you in on what he worked on this, and then we can look at the changes.
Yeah, the main thing that I did was instead of trying to carve it up, I tried to represent the entire 9.02, and basically we removed the 9.02.002, which was the description of the town secretary being aligned with the mayor's seat, and I think some other verbiage in there. So basically remove that. And then at the, in section 9.02.006, the general authority and duties of the town administrator, I added B, so I inserted item B, which is serve as town secretary and assume the powers and perform the duties of town secretary as required by the state law and town ordinances. So that should, transfer all those duties and rights and whatnot to the town administrator. And then the other thing I did was change the wording on my bearings here for a second. Yeah, so on C, attend all regular and special council meetings, and as requested by town council, advise on agenda items and take part in council discussion. So I just added that as requested by town council and removed the word authority. And that's what we talked about last time. I left everything else in just for clarity. I didn't want to, try to just slice and dice with this.
Right, and when I spoke with Rob Dillard, and it was regarding the 90206, if you look at D, that was the one that came up in the original meeting, because it left the town secretary position in. The original, that was the only place that was regarding. Since the addition of what Robert worked on, going through that with Rob Dillard, he said it takes care of D as well. So by leaving D in the original format, it would leave the town administrator options if the town ever grew big enough to need both.
Yeah.
That they could still separate.
Right.
And have the town secretary and the public admin, if you want to look at it that way. So that didn't matter at this time, by adding, what was the one that you added, C?
I had taken E, well, I added B.
B,
To
that's
grant
it.
the powers, or no, not powers, but yeah, that says powers and duties of the town secretary to the town administrator. That shifted everything down one, so in the version that I have that we're talking about passing tonight, it moved everything down to E. You're talking about E, where it says that with the town's approval, hire, supervise, and when necessary for the good of the town, terminate subordinate employees except the town secretary,
Correct.
town attorney, town auditor, town judge, and town prosecutor. So there's a little bit of confusion because it said except town secretary. So, but I think I see where where the attorney's going, he's wanting to leave that phrase under like that in case we ever do separate it back out. That's okay.
That was his, and because you rolled into B,
Yeah,
that kind of supersedes
Right.
that particular statement. It gives options, and that was the only clarity there that he explained to me, so
The other-
he said it was fine.
the other big difference I did was I did put some whereas statements up here just to cite back to the local code, that we have the ability to do this. We have the ability to create a town administrator under, local government code 22071A, and then we have the ability to confer the powers of the town secretary to any role, and that's under section 22071C. So that's why I have those whereas statements there, because that just kind of makes sure everything, if anybody's looking into this, why it was done and how we did it, it cites those local government codes.
Discussion points? Like, dislike, anything?
You worked with Dillard on it? So this will be the finalized document, should we?
That's correct.
We should,
Just to
both
clarify.
of them should be sent to E-code. Because
Correct.
both of them are passed. Yeah.
I have not checked to see if this one has already gone to E-code
Yeah.
or not.
Just make sure they have it.
Yes, that's correct. And so,
And to see what else has not?
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to know that too, since we opened that up.
that may take a little more
Right.
time.
Yeah. First things
Well, well, I
first. First
guess-
things first, JT.
I guess it's really, what was the last thing submitted to?
Yeah, that's a good
By each
question.
of, and then that should answer everything else. Okay.
So if, more discussion, I will send this to Rob Dillard and get, if we make a motion to approve this, I'll send this forward to Dillard, and have him, basically do the same thing. We may end up having to come back, shouldn't be a problem to go ahead and pass this and
Yeah.
send it to him since he's formatted.
Right.
So we should be good
Yeah,
there.
because he already put his stamp back on it.
Yeah, I think so.
So, the continuation
The list is-
notations,
yeah.
yeah.
Where are you looking?
So
Where?
you-
Okay,
And then you
Yeah.
have some on the back as well.
on the reserves, yes.
He added that. He added that, I didn't have that one. But he added that, I think, to make sure that I'm sure he did it for a reason. He didn't talk about it though, but it probably has something to do with the severability and all that, subsections and all that kind of thing. It's
Right,
just
the
to
only
cover
thing
it.
is, it's just that, right, because it opens up the notations there, and then it closes them out over here, so I don't know if it's, so that's
Yeah, it should
why-
close here.
So
This
it
is part
closes,
of- this is
yeah,
part of the
closes
ordinance.
right there.
It should close there. Section 2 that you see below that is part of the ordinance itself, saying that if the ordinance is, if this is out of line with anything else, then this takes precedence over it. And then section 3 is about conflicting.
So previously, there was a section 9.02.007, are we just completely omitting that?
I don't believe there was. And if there is, okay. Well, we're not stating that we're deleting it.
Okay.
So-
Well, if this is what we're going to sign, that would be omitting it.
We're not calling out, that we're deleting it.
Okay.
So I think we're good with that. I mean, we could have Dillard look at it one last time and make sure that we're not wiping out section 7.
Because, is this supposed to be the finalized?
This is what was sent from,
It's supposed to be, yeah, it's
This is
supposed to be
from
finalized.
Dillard. I think that's why you put the dots then, because that's supposed to capture the ellipsis for everything else. And at the beginning in section 1, it states that we're amending by deleting section 002 and by amending 004, 005, 006. It doesn't say we're deleting 007.
Right, but if this is going to be the finalized, the only problem that I have with is that the ellipses don't capture. So you see, it would be, the ellipses would be bound to, at the end of .006, So section 6, completely eliminate section 7.
I'm not following you.
So, your ellipses,
That's at the end.
that's at the end, but,
Right.
I mean, you've got none, you have no ellipses over here, so.
Well, you have it at the beginning.
Yeah, so to me, it's saying,
Oh,
okay,
you're looking at two
replace.
different documents.
Right.
Yeah, he did, it's two different styles. Again, I didn't put the ellipsis part in there, and I didn't take out seven.
This is
That's
what's
something that
current.
Dillard did.
Right, so this is what's currently in play, which has section 7.
Mhm.
And this is the one we're proposing to sign, which replaces, ordinance number 270. So this would be technically whatever the current ordinance is. But it replaces this, because we're both not.
It doesn't replace it, it further amends what's
Oh,
already
just
there.
amends.
That's correct. You can't replace it.
Okay.
It's already been passed.
That's correct.
It's already laid down and printed. Think of it like a printing press, and you've already laid it in and printed it. It's already
Okay.
shipped.
So the way I see it, saying deleting O2, and it says, okay, it's gonna replace that with reserved. And then dot, 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 it doesn't really care about what happens with O3, so we're just skipping that, that stays the same.
Okay,
Then 4, 5, and 6.
I see it like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if we hadn't passed the other one, I'd agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I got you now. Mr. London, in your experience, have you ever dealt with any car ordinances that were amended that had,
Lots.
and didn't remove certain things, even though?
Yeah, we would type them in 130, A, B, C, D, E.
Okay.
We'd alphabetize them with a suffix and that. Farther down the alphabet you get, that's the most current version.
Okay. Cool.
Larry, do you have any questions on what you're seeing here, since you're new to
Yeah,
this?
sorry, you're.
No, he just clarified.
Yeah, you're way down there, I know, I was like
No,
showing this.
I'm following.
So with that, can I make a motion?
If you'd like to make a motion.
No, you may not.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the ordinance under section 6.5 of our agenda.
I'll second
With the, okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, motion passes. Thank you, I know that's been a tough one, going up to this point, so.
Let's look at these first.
That'll conclude, the end of the agenda items on the regular agenda meeting. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Yeah.